Fish know nothing about water. Been asked a lot about that. What does that mean? Well, if a fish were able to talk, would it even be able to describe what water is? Probably not. It's a little too close to it. Born into it. It uses it to get from place to place. It's probably unable to see it, smell it, any of that. It's just there. They're used to, as in this school, falling in line, going nose to tail, from birth to death. It's just what they do. Interesting, as a business consultant in the architecture, engineering, and construction world, which I'll shorten to AEC from here on out, I see a lot of the same behavior. A lot of things in the industry that are just simply not even questioned. We're going to go into that. Pretty entertaining, I think. So, the names up here, these people, although they are pretty big fish in the world of Western management, we'll call it, for the purposes of my metaphor, and it is my metaphor, I'm going to say that these are not big fish. These are the people that provide the structure for management in whatever industry you're in. You may not know any of these people, but these are the water that we all swim in, sort of. Keep up here. I've been around the country a lot here recently, talking to a lot of business leaders, and it's fairly well unanimous, about a 1% return rate on people that know any of these names at all. So if you don't know any of these names, don't worry about it. No one in this industry does either. What they represent, again, it being the structure of management, they represent a lot that you don't maybe see. Some of the techniques that are used are a little bit out of favor. You know, some of them come from just after the Industrial Revolution. Some of the techniques contradict each other. But unless you really know who these people are and understand the techniques that they've brought to us all, how do you know that your company is choosing the right one? How do you know that maybe you're selecting one or the other that's actually reducing your ability to innovate? Some of them, I believe, actually do reduce the ability to innovate. So let's take a look at what this looks like in our industry. What do we make in our industry? We make these things, which I'll do my best to cover up a brand name here. This is a deck of construction documents. A lot of people might shorthand that and call it blueprints. Kind of is what it is there. It's all of the things that make a building. The electrons that make the lights go, the pipes that make the water go out or in, the HVAC system, the air conditioning, all that stuff. It's all right there. So what does it look like in our industry when we use the wrong technique? So this is the beginning of, let's say you're a business owner and you approach an architect and say, I want to build a store. The pain of this process is depicted in the color green here. No big deal. It's the easiest time in the whole process. Everybody's happy. The architect then puts together massive lists, and you can guess there's massive lists of things that make up a building. They build these huge lists, and then they send them off to us. As engineers, we then receive these big lists and do whatever it is that we do with them. We're getting closer to the deadline, so what have we done? We've done a whole bunch of work based off of those lists. Well, I was at a gigantic architecture firm in Dallas not too long ago, and before we started the presentation, there's probably 40 people in the room. One of the principals of this huge architecture firm came up and he was just grilling me. What is the matter with engineering firms? At the end of a project, there's this death spiral where everybody's misunderstanding everyone and cost overruns, and I tell them to do this and they do that. What is the matter with them? Well, whenever we send out documents, this is what they get. We'll send them a document, they'll get out a red pen, they'll tell us all the stuff that we did wrong. This is the process. Doesn't that sound fun? Imagine what the room did when I showed them this slide. They all went a little bit ballistic, and I said, I know, we know, the process is broken. It is a death spiral at the end, where we don't even know what we're supposed to design, but you're asking us to do it anyway. Well, remember those names, those bigwigs prior to? All those faces? Well, what they have built is systems that are now being misused in most companies. The remnants of what those great management systems have left behind, notice it's left behind, we're not using them correctly, is a kind of collegial system where you've got people at the top of the company that are fairly well insulated. You've got people at the middle and the bottom that if they do a bad job, you just replace them, right? You just get a new one. Ever heard of too big to fail? It happens inside of businesses too. Why does it happen that way? It happens that way because people are not understanding how to correctly manage. And by say correctly, I mean in a human way. I'll show you something else here. Ever hear of this guy? Nassim Taleb. I'm not going to get too much into what he's talking about here. He's an options trader. He's absolutely brilliant. I'm not going to steal too much of his stuff here. I'm just going to point to him as a way of saying thank you to him. He's just terrific. In late 2013, I was doing a process dive at a engineering firm, and I came across this passage in his book, Anti-Fragile. Well, I was told that we were working with a manufacturing process. You start with inputs, you do a little work, you get outputs. Inputs are those huge lists. Those huge lists. The output is this thing that I just showed you here, this massive document with all the details. Well, the output is junk, as I showed you before with the death spiral. Well, that happens internally too. So what a process person does in the manufacturing world is they look at those errors, and you use those errors to go back to the process and fix the process. Well, if you've got a collegial system that's very command and control, very top down, you say, you messed up my drawing and you need more training. It's you. I'm fine. I told you everything you need to know. You goofed it up. Fix yourself. Well, I was told that this was a collaborative process. Okay, so is it manufacturing or is it collaborative? Well, that sent me soul searching. Led me to think, well, if it is collaborative, it can't be manufacturing. If it's collaborative, you can't know all the stuff up front. Sometimes there's things that reveal themselves as the process goes along, if it's collaborative. If I can just send you stuff to draw and you do it, that's not collaborative. That's just going to the copy store. Well, how about this for innovation? You cannot predict what's going to happen in a collaboration, but you can predict that it's going to be super additive. I can come up with my own fabulous ideas, but if I involve a few of you, those ideas will get larger, better, get closer to quality faster. We all sort of innately know this. It's lost on the AE&C industry, I'll tell you, lost. How about this line? All you can do is create an environment that facilitates these collaborations. That's all you can do. I would like for you to be creative on Thursday at 2 p.m. Put it in your Outlook calendar. It sounds ridiculous. It is ridiculous, but we try and do that in industry all the time. We're going to calendarize when the innovations are going to occur. I had a bigwig, I won't say the company, ask me how much percentage of time a manager is going to devote to their project, devote specifically to innovation. I'm on a conference call staring at the phone. I have no idea how to even answer a question like that. And by the way, that thinking was represented by one of the people in that first slide. It's called Taylorism. Have you ever heard of that? So anyway, I'm going to do one Taleb thing. Remember the big list? Taleb gave me tools, gave us all tools, I guess, to be able to take a look at systems, management methods, whatever you want, how to make a cookie, whatever, fragile systems, and a thing he made up called anti-fragile systems. So on the right, fragile. See the horizontal line? The farther away you get from the horizontal line, the more of it you have. So it's not more and less, it's just more. Let's say, see the dot where it says you are here? Let's say you are a 22-page checklist for how to build a giant restaurant in Providence, Rhode Island. Does this sound familiar? To me, it does. This happened. Okay, so let's work that way. Let's say that my architect was just bloody brilliant and guessed every step of the way how this project was going to go. It's an 18-week project. They missed no details. They got everything, jot and tittle, into the list. Got it all. Well, if that happened, great, it's all game. Anybody think it went like that? Anybody? Okay, so you are here. The very first thing we found out in terms of variability was we didn't know where the property line was. Well, that makes it interesting. We then found out that the previous occupant had never taken care of any of the mechanical systems in the building. The air conditioner, any of the water heaters were completely crazy. Well, that's a bit of variability there too. The owner had no idea. Our projects always evolve. They always evolve. One of the things that has been a great leap for us all, in my group anyway, is we were told that this is a type of a specific thing. These are construction documents. They have their own inherent characteristics. As Deming, one of those first people, would say, these have their own special problems. No, they don't. This is a created thing. It's created by creative people. Now I'll say something funny. Engineers are creative. I didn't think so. Turns out they are. They're absolutely creative. They're just as creative as any creative. It's just that they suffer from the ability to do math. I'm not an engineer. So let's look at the anti-fragile side. So, okay, you are here. Remember the death spiral? We're going to work our way that way. You are an engineer. You've been given a 22-page list. No variability in that. You just sit there in your cubicle and you work like the dickens and you make this awesome thing. You create this document. You've solved every problem in the list. You get all the way to the end and you turn it in, and what does the architect do with it again? They get out their red pen and they tell you all the stuff you missed. The IT industry figured this out a little while ago, 30, 40 years ago. You cannot establish these big lists and hope you're going to hit your target in the end. You are here. We're moving this way on the anti-fragile side. I get my big list from this giant restaurant, and I tell the owner right to his face, I say, I'm not going to look at your list. I'm going to look at your project. You would rather me build to the list or build to the project? And he went, we'll try it. So, okay, we don't know where the property line is. I don't care. We're working in a felt tip pen. It doesn't matter. It's really easy. We make lots of phone calls. We have little quick meetings, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, all the way through. It doesn't matter. We're increasing the variability because all you can do is build a system where accidents, collisions, can happen. You can't prescribe when innovation will occur. You can't put it on the calendar. All you can do is make it so it's possible to happen. You do that by increasing variability. Agile. Anybody here understand or ever heard of Agile? Software people in the house? So this is software management, right? No, it is not. It came from software. My view is this is how you manage human beings in a creative environment. We have adapted software practices to the world of engineering. Go figure, there's some people that think I'm full of it. Lots of them. Agile Principles, we won't go into that. But Agile consists of 4 values and 12 principles. Anybody heard of Scrum? Yeah, more software people. From rugby, right? Pile a bunch of people together. That's what it is. You get a bunch of people together on the well, what is that? Left? Right? Right. On the right side, these are people having a scrum meeting. It's people having an open conversation about what's going on a project. You can do this for any type of project. I'm aware of somebody who did this in their kitchen to get their kids to to do the dishes. You can have a scrum meeting for anything. It's very lightweight, it's very human, it's very organic, and it's all based on creating an environment where happy accidents can occur. Our problems are different. No, they're not. How about this guy, Tim Brown of IDEO? No? All he ever did was create the computer mouse for Apple. These people are doing just fine. He's very famous for saying design is too important to be left to the designers. Bit of a managerial sort of saying there. I think design is too important to be left to the designers, but I also think that portions of the thinking, if you just leave it to them, you don't have a company. So you have to have some kind of a structure, some kind of permission to play. Have you ever heard of permission to play? Some sort of thing that makes it a safe work environment where people can really go after each other if they have to. They can challenge without fear of being fired. Well, what we've come up with is these things that we call our agile social values. And to me, this is our gift to the world. A little bit that we've added onto agile. It makes a big difference. We'll go through it really fast. Collaboration over decorum. Would you rather somebody wait to tell you the good idea? Would you rather somebody in the right position give you the good idea? I think anybody can have a good idea, and they better just come out with it, because everybody benefits when they do. If you have a collegial, professorial, command and control, top-down, heavy management environment, you got loads of decorum. How's your collaboration? It's not very good. Working social over social working. How good is a computer that's not connected to the internet? I think we learned that what makes computing powerful is connecting the computers. So how do we get the heads connected in the office? Well, one of them is by the social element of working. You get them to play a bit while they're at work. Notice, it's not I don't want them playing in the office. I definitely do. We've got foosball tables. We have Nerf gun wars, all that stuff. But to create our projects, we have to have people talking, because that's where quality comes from. The source of quality is happy accidents that people have inside the office and outside the office. It'll work anywhere you try it. Group knowledge over hierarchy. Back to that thing. Who's supposed to have the good ideas? Who's assigned the task of having the good ideas? Another IDEO point is, Tim Brown would say, all of us are smarter than any one of us. That's pretty profound. There could be some people that are wicked smart, but they are not as smart as the group. They're just not. Put them on high, they'll get all full of themselves, whatever. We have a flat organization. Everybody creates, everybody adds value, everybody makes the product. Doesn't matter if you've been there for 1 year or 25, doesn't matter. Optionality, word out of Taleb's book. Who saw Apollo 13? Great movie. Who believes that they would have solved that little problem they had up there in space if they gave it to one person in one office to figure it out? Expertism is, I need the right person for the job. I don't need the right person for the job. I need a lot of people that will be themselves and show up and be themselves at work every day. Just be yourself. Doesn't matter if you're the right person. All of us are more the right person than any one of us is the right person. I'll leave you with this last thing. Professors and architects throughout the land Please don't criticize what you don't understand. Designers and engineers are beyond your command. Your old road is rapidly fading. Please get out of the new one if you can't lend a hand. Finish this with me. For the times, they are a-changin'. Thank you.